excited to be down here supporting Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is someone who came from very humble beginnings. She was one of 6 children, and what I love the story about her is that her house was filled with books, even though sometimes she didn't have electricity in her home. But she has come from this value of education, family first. She went to Yale Law School, and then she came back and she really came to serve her community, and she has worked in the Georgia community for so many years as a state representative, and really worked across the aisle with her Republican governor to get things done for the people of Georgia. She's running on expanding access to Medicaid for Georgians, to expand rural hospitals. These are basic things that Georgia needs, and I think that she really wants to expand economic opportunity. She has a plan for small businesses in this state. She's got a plan for transportation. She believes in early childhood education. She believes in funding schools fully. So I am incredibly excited. She is a historic candidate. She is a worker. She is a person with deep integrity.
Hello Seema, very nice to meet you. I'm Jyothsna Hegde from NRI Pulse, and here are questions for you.
It's a pleasure to be with you today, Jyothsna. Happy to be here.
And thank you. And welcome to Georgia.
Fantastic.
What are some of the strategies that you have as the new CEO of DNC to flip the red states into blue?
Well, one of the things that we're really proud of is that we started really early, and we started investing in the states and the infrastructure, investing in communities really early, because sometimes Democrats have shown up a little bit late, but when we have genuine relationships, when we're talking to people on the ground, the outcomes are much better. One thing that I'm really proud of is we have about a dozen Asian American organizers on the ground, and including here in Atlanta, in some of the most critical races that are really helping to organize the community during these last several weeks. Actually now down to 8 days before the election.
Wow.
That challenges are so great facing our country right now. I think we have seen a president that has stoked hate and fear, and is really running on this message that we are divided as a country, and that someone else only gets ahead when someone else gets behind, which is as anti-American as you can get. And we're seeing that now as violence is playing out. We are seeing it in remarkable anti-immigrant sentiment throughout the country. We are seeing irresponsible fiscal responsibility, and perhaps most importantly, we are seeing a Republican Party that is completely unwilling to put a check on this president that is running roughshod over all of the American ideals that we have held so dear. And that's why my parents came to this country. That's why so many of our parents, and that's why so many of the viewers watching probably came here. And those real values are being undermined every day. I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is the number of women that we have running for office, with many of them running for the very first time. And I will say for myself and for other women, when women are in the room, and when women of color are in the room, when Asian Americans in the room, we all bring our whole selves to these positions. So we have a perspective that is different than other people, because what we have faced has been different. And whether it's discrimination issues or issues of our own reproductive health, our own healthcare issues that we all face every day, whether it's safety issues that we face as women that most men don't face every day, we all bring those pieces of ourselves. And I think that when women are in the room, the conversation starts to change. Eventually the ideas start to change, and then we see policy change happen. So I think I'm excited to bring that perspective as a woman and a woman of color and a South Asian woman into this position. But I think we'll also see so many fantastic candidates really coming into the Democratic Party, also bringing that perspective. So we have so much at stake in this election as Indian Americans, as immigrants, as South Asians. There is so much at stake. I really think this election is the most important one of our lifetime. Our democracy is really at stake. The values that we hold so dear as a country are really at stake. Republicans want to do things like stop family-based immigration. family-based immigration is how we bring, when we come over here, that's how we bring our brothers and sisters. That's how we bring our parents who are getting older in India. That's how we may be bringing our adult children who turn 18 and are not yet here yet. So these are really dangerous policies to our community. Democrats support policies like immigration reform that we have been, that our community desperately needs to solve a variety of issues related to people waiting on in long visa lines and all sorts of things that immigration reform will really help solve. There's also really issues that affect everybody. Healthcare is so important. People with pre-existing conditions being able to be protected from not having their healthcare taken away. So we really have everything on the ballot, and more fundamentally, it's a really dangerous time in this country because the fear that this president is stoking in immigrant communities, in all of us, this divisive type of rhetoric is so dangerous for our country, and there's really no check on this president at all right now. Republicans control both branches of government. Democrats are way behind in the number of governorships that we have. So we really need to elect Democrats everywhere, which is why I'm here campaigning for Stacey Abrams, which I'm really proud to be supporting. The Democratic plan for immigration has always been very holistic. It's not taking one piece of it, it's really looking at all of it and saying, where are we as a country today? But the Democratic policy has always been that immigrants make our country stronger. And that used to be an American position now. But fundamentally, this president has filled his cabinet, his people, with white supremacists who don't take that as a given, and they are trying to stoke fear of immigrants of all levels, even having a new task force that's looking into naturalized citizens, anyone who naturalized after 1990. They're opening up, expanding an office to take a look at, well, was anything improper done when you naturalize? I mean, this type of work is absolutely unprecedented, the type of focus that this president is having, and he is unchecked. Well, that's very kind thing to say. My message is that you can do anything, and don't not see yourself in a position because you haven't seen a person who looks just like you in that position. We are seeing South Asian women in particular, but South Asians participating in all parts of civic life. So you can do a whole bunch of things that you may not have thought were possible. Just set your goals high, follow your passions, and things can really happen, and you can be the change that you really want to see in your country.